Good evening from Washington. I'm Larry O'Connor, and apparently the United States is executing an illegal war in Ukraine with American troops without any congressional authorization. When asked about that, they've been lying to you for the last year plus. Now, normally that would be the lead story on any news program about what we've learned from the leaks out of the Pentagon, but no, actually, the big story apparently is the leak itself and getting the leaker and silencing the leaker and making sure we do exactly what Admiral Kirby told us to do, which is not report what's been leaked. What's going on here? Joining us right now is one of the finest critics of the mainstream media today, Stephen Miller, host of the Versus Media podcast and contributing editor at The Spectator. This has been an amazing thing to watch unfold. This full court press, Stephen, focused on one thing. We got to find this guy. And boy, they found him pretty fast too, didn't they?
Yeah, it's amazing how when the media and the DOJ and the FBI put their heads together, how fast they can come together to find a leaker.
Yeah.
This was pretty stunning. This was the Washington Post two nights ago reporting that they knew his identity through Discord and through friends. Yesterday, the New York Times reveals his identity, and 3 hours later, a tactical unit with full military SWAT gear shows up and arrests him. And so if you don't think that there was some collusion here, it's not like the DOJ just suddenly went, oh, the New York Times figured out who he is. Let's go, guys. There was clearly something going on here between these two entities.
And we got the Dobbs decision. Still no idea who did that. They've closed that case. We got just 3 weeks ago, we had the indictment against Donald Trump leaked by the Manhattan DA's office. We have endless leaks all during the Trump presidency. And we never will find out. We still don't know who leaked the phone call of Trump and Zelensky that led to his impeachment. But boy, this one, you know, overnight.
Yeah, Nord Stream, New York Times wrote, we shouldn't be looking into that because we don't want to know who blew that up.
That's right.
And then the identity of the Nashville shooter and their manifesto, nobody's interested in uncovering that. But when you go against kind of the administration's narrative with Ukraine, but yeah, they know how to find you within 24 hours, apparently.
So should we take away from this, Stephen, that because this is a war that apparently the media is in favor of, or they don't want to undermine a president that they like, that's why that's what their focus is? I mean, something tells me, you know, back in the Vietnam War era, this leak would probably get different coverage by the media at that time.
I think that's a safe assumption. I mean, I guess I look at this and I say, what happens if this guy, instead of posting all of this stuff to a Discord server and then spreading it out all over the internet, what happens if he takes it to the New York Times and says, hey, I have this stuff, I need a whistleblower protection or whatever. How would the New York Times be treating him? And so you brought up an interesting thing with Dobbs. Dobbs was a case that was somehow leaked to Josh Gerstein of Politico. And we have no idea who that person will ever be until they come out a year from now and say, I was the Dobbs leaker in the New York Times. And here you have them not using journalists. He just posted online to impress his friends. I'm not validating the intelligence of this guy in doing this. He's going to go to jail for quite a long time until probably Donald Trump, pardons him. But it's the simple fact of how the media treat certain aspects and different leakers going forward now. And again, with the Supreme Court leaker, he goes to a Politico journalist. His identity, or their identity, Stephen Breyer's identity, is protected forever. If you go to Discord, if you don't use mainstream media outlets, they're going to find you within 48 hours with the help of the feds and the DOJ.
That's a great point.
It's not a good place to be when, our fourth estate is actually colluding with the intelligence state to find leakers.
I love that.
At the demand of Kirby saying, don't publish this stuff. Okay,
you betcha.
Publish this stuff.
That observation, though, if they gave it to the Times or the Washington Post or Politico, then they can win their Pulitzer. Then they can get their bonus. So that's okay. But just dumping it out there for anyone to see, without gatekeepers? By the way, that Donald Trump pardon, does that come in his third term, fourth term, or were you talking about Trump Jr.? I just need to know.
Yeah, it's whatever, and everybody knows that third term's coming. If he wins it, it's going to be like, in my third term, I'm going to pardon this guy.
That's right.
But I said this yesterday in my podcast. I'm like, I'm not going to defend the actual leak of this stuff. I think this guy's going to probably go to jail for a while. And you've already kind of seen, the Marjorie Taylor Greene aspect of the Trump wing of the GOP come out and automatically defend this guy. That doesn't say, I guess I look at this and I say, forget everything else. Is what he put out there true? Right. And if what he put out there is true, then we should be looking into the true aspects of that, at least as journalists should be doing. And instead, they're ignoring what was in the leak and they're just simply neutralizing the leaker. And again, that to me comes down, whether it's Snowden, whether it's, Ariel Winter, whether it's anybody, all that matters is what did he put out there? Is it true what he put out there? Okay, then let's analyze what's true, because there is a flag on one of those documents that suggests we have special operations forces in Ukraine right now, and those guys don't just guard embassies.
Yeah. By the way, there's another aspect of this that I think is fascinating, and that is now the Biden administration is using this, and the intelligence community is using it as an excuse as to why they should crack down and surveil content online even more. And of course, the media seems like they're cheerleading that as well.
Yeah, this one's funny to me, and I'm probably going to be writing more about this in Spectator, which is the Biden administration is competent. They can apparently let any junior airman walk in and download documents and print them out and take them home in Maryland. Apparently anybody can do this. And now, instead of blaming the intelligence apparatus and the chain of command in the military, they're going to go after 4chan, I guess. When this is actually an issue of competence. How does any junior Yahoo just download, Ukraine war plans and Russian intelligence and Ukrainian, combat positions? How is anyone just able to do that? And instead, the Biden administration is going to use that to ignore their incompetence. And they're going to say, well, we're going after online gaming communities. That's the real problem here.
But the fact that the media doesn't seem to have a critical concern about that. I mean, it's as if they had given this to the New York Times and the Biden administration's response was, okay, that means we got to shut down newspapers from this point forward. I mean, that's the analogy, isn't it?
No, that's absolutely correct. But you have the media doing exactly what Kirby told them to do. And that even includes Fox News saying, we're not going to publish any of these documents.
Yeah.
New York Times did a report on them. They didn't show any of them, and it was all about all the dysfunction in the Russian military, which is fine. I'm sure there is. They're not exactly the most upstanding moral characters over there, but it was all framed as all these documents show as Russia in disarray. And then Bellingcat, which is one of the original reporters of them, they showed the documents, but they blurred them out because I guess we can't just see this stuff when any Twitter search of 3 keywords will show you all of the documents.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with having them online is they're out there now. They're completely out there for anyone to see. And how damaging they are, I don't know. Does the U.S., does Ukraine, does Russia change their battle plans based on any of this? I doubt it, but who knows?
By the way, Stephen, I mean, in my Discord chat groups, we talk about video games, we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and Catholic apologetics. Am I doing it wrong?
Yeah. I don't know. There might be a difference between like your boomer Discord chats and then some other gaming chats, and that's kind of what I thought is, this is a really convenient narrative that they're saying this is a MAGA sympathizer, white supremacist, Gamergate. Apparently, this all happened because of Gamergate from a few years ago or something.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where it is a very convenient narrative for our media to go down the road of this is a MAGA anti-war sympathizing neo-Nazi who stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
I didn't hear anything after Boomer. I'm a Gen X, okay?
Yeah.
Miller, do you want to come back on the show?
I'm younger. Yeah, I mean, I'm younger Gen X, so I think my hair is grayer than yours, so that's the fair.
I wanted the other Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
Don't they all?
First and last appearance on this program from Stephen Miller. The podcast is the Versus Media podcast for all your boomer content that you love so much. And check out his columns at Spectator. And you got to follow him on Twitter. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.